Alright guys, you saw it on the time lapse, car's down, pulled temps to 160 how it's supposed to be, so the thermostat was the issue. Even though it's brand new, doesn't always mean it works. So hop in the car, I'll take it for a little spin. Don't have a camera mount that'll really work in there, so I might just take some video here and there by hand, but don't expect to see a whole lot for the test drive, because I just want to get a couple laps, get a little load on it, a little engine braking. I'll feel a lot better about how the rings are going to seat. So yeah, cut to whatever the next footage is, going for a drive. I feel like somebody's watching me. Alright guys, making this clip just in case I didn't get that last clip. Camera locked up, so I had to reset it. Might have lost it, might not, don't know, haven't checked yet. But just in case, post-drive, the drive went well. I didn't take any video. I was too busy looking at all the gauges, temps, just trying to hear and feel if anything was going to be weird with the car. It was just a small drive around the block. Essentially, I put a gallon or two of premium in it, drove it back, some engine braking, a little bit of load, 5-10 degrees of vacuum, but not a whole lot. Just something to try to seat the rings a little bit. So now it's been fired 3 times, and I'm gonna go ahead and change the oil filter, top it back up with oil. I need to bleed the brakes, pressure bleed the brakes, pressure bleed the clutch. And I think that's about it. Oh, drain the tank, because I need to put the 85 in it, try to get a tune on it tomorrow, hopefully. So I would say I'd go to the time lapse, but you guys seen that. I'm bleeding brakes, changing an oil filter, and bleeding a clutch. I mean, it's not interesting, nor do you guys probably care to see any more time lapse at this point. So just know the next clip, all that stuff will be done. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be going out and street driving it and doing a little bit of tune on the 85. So in a few seconds, fast forward to that. See you guys in a bit. Alright guys, here we are, another day. I probably left off with that last test drive. Might combine these videos, might not, don't know yet. But today we're going to go tune it. Sadly, I don't have my cage mount for the camera. And I'm not going to try to hold it while I'm driving or Chris's tuning or anything like that. So won't have any in-car footage of us driving around and playing around with the laptop. But I'll make sure to, talk through it, whatever, whenever we get done. Talk about the car, what we did, all that stuff. Probably show you some of the maps maybe. But yeah, let's get the tires back on. We'll set it back on the ground, go drive it, tune it on the 85. And then the last thing I really want to do before I actually go to the event this weekend is tomorrow, when the motor's still warm after driving, I want to pull the valve cover and measure on my valve lash to see what the lash is. So as long as it's within tolerance or close, because I made all the lash on the loose side with the motor cold, which in retrospect was a bad idea. Should have played it a little bit tighter, because it should get looser, I think, when it gets hot. Yeah, hopefully it's within spec if it is, or within like a thou. If it's 1 thou out of spec, I might still let it ride, but yeah, we'll double check that tomorrow. As long as that's good, the tune goes good tonight, I think that's a green light. I think we're gonna make the event. So yeah, I think the next shot will probably be maybe a shot of Chris hooking some stuff up in the computer, maybe when the tune's over and I'm just talking again. With just telling you I was gonna drive it, data log it, so Chris can look at it and stuff. Did that last night. Mechanically, as far as the engine concerned, car ran great. Ran fine. A couple little rich spots here and there on tipping where it's getting down to the 10s, and this is just like a light acceleration. It's just that stuff where you have to data log for a while, where you hit all those little cells that you don't really touch on that initial drive. So that'll get fine-tuned later. Car runs great other than that. One issue I did have, and I didn't have this issue at all when I was driving with Chris, like on the interstate and out in the country there, but when I was driving last night, I hit a bump on the interstate and it got a bit of like a death wobble going on. Like the steering wheel was jumping back and forth really bad, and like just don't overcorrect, just kind of hold on to the wheel a little bit, just give it a little turn back and forth, it kind of like level itself out, would stop. Did it a few times, so it is an issue. I'm not sure what it is. It does have all new bushings up front, and I didn't really readjust or check tow, so I'm going to do that now. as well as I just did an oil change, so it doesn't have the break-in oil in it anymore. Between the 3 startups, so there's probably 15 minutes of running there, and then we drove for about an hour last night, getting into boost, engine braking, loading it. So I mean, most of the engine braking happens really quick, so there's no need for that oil anymore. So it's got fresh oil, it's got a recently fresh filter. That'll get me through this weekend. I'll probably change the oil once again after that, because that's be 2 days of drifting, be solid beating on it. If there's anything else coming out of the motor, you should get in that oil, and then I can just go to regular kind of change intervals. But change the oil, and now I'm getting ready to check tow. So we just got some tow plates, a couple tape measures, and we'll see what the tow reads at, see if it changed a lot since I did the bushings and stuff. I'm crossing my fingers that, although I don't think tow would cause that, maybe it did. So hopefully fixing or checking the tow alignment and maybe tweaking it a tiny bit will help fix that problem. So let's say go to the time lapse. All you're gonna do is see me like pop around the garage, and I mean, you're not gonna see much. So I'll check and see what the tow is, possibly adjust it, and then I'll talk to you guys here in a few. Alright guys, just finished up, filled it back up with oil, checked the tow. I actually had 3/8 of an inch tow out, which is excessive. I don't know if that's enough to give it that kind of death wobble thing when you hit a bump. I mean, it could be bump steer potentially, but I didn't have that issue last year, and last year I still had the cut knuckles and everything else, which is what I think would have caused that. It's just a really bad bump steer. The only thing that's changed is bushings, moving the rack forward 3/4 of an inch, and all that netted, my toe being off. It was 3/8 toe out instead of being about an 1/8 inch, 1/16 of an inch toe out. So adjusted the toe. We'll drive it later tonight, see if it fixes that. Last thing I have to do, I don't know if I'll do it tonight or tomorrow morning. Need to get the motor up to temperature. Turn it off, let it sit for about 10 minutes or so, pull the valve cover, measure my valve lash. So I know what it was cold, it was within spec. I mean, I cut the shims on the surface plate and everything, so I know they were within spec. Cold, the question is, I don't know how much this cylinder head grows with temperature in it. So if it grows a lot, all my measurements could be off because I didn't have a cold measurement to go to, so I just kind of used the hot ones and put it, within a few thou of the high limit, because usually loose valves are better than tight valves, but I didn't really think about the fact this is a shim, so you could chuck a shim if you get it too loose, and it's a little more violent on the bucket because the camshaft's getting more of a rotation to where it hits the ramp a little bit harder than if you take up that slack, then it kind of rolls into the ramp a little easier. So yeah, I just measure the lash either later tonight or in the morning, and if that's all good, we're loading up, we're going drifting for 2 days. So yeah, fingers crossed. So don't know if this will lead until I just continue this probably into tomorrow's video maybe, or it's going to end now. So either way, see you guys later.